Hi, this is John McCarthy with Star Athletes Online. I'm here with Coach Terry Waldrop, who's been very involved as a head college coach, has won a national title as a head college coach, has been involved in compliance. And we're going to talk a little bit about recruiting with Coach Waldrop, and we're going to talk very general so that regardless of which sport you play, and regardless of what level you're looking at, we're going to talk a little bit about the recruiting process. And Coach Waldrop, before we were on air here, we were talking a little bit about your ABCs of recruiting, if you will, and hopefully we can make that applicable for any sport.
Yeah, I think you can. I think the biggest thing you're trying to do is get as much information as you possibly can. The more information you get, the more informed decision that you make. We've kind of had a process that I've adopted from my old Division I coach. We called it the ABCs of recruiting, and again, it applies to any level, any sport. We call it the hurdle system, A, B, and C. The first hurdle being the A, which is academics. You know, figuring out, A, if I weren't an athlete, is this a good place to go to school? I mean, some people need a big school, some people need a small school, some people need in between. What's comfortable for you? Another thing is proximity, distance from your house. Some people need to go as far away from home as possible. Some people need to be right at home so mom can help them with homework, with laundry, what have you. Some people need intermediate or weekend distance. And the funny thing is, I think the student athletes and the parents need to have that discussion, because a lot of times you're going to have two separate answers on that, and everybody's got to be happy with it. But looking at the majors, looking at the things that you're involved with, trying to fit yourself into a school that meets your needs. The second hurdle would be the the basketball part, or whatever sport you're involved with. Be it volleyball, football, what have you. The biggest thing is making sure that it fits your style. In other words, don't try to twist yourself into that program. I was a junior college coach one time, and the very first year I was there, I had a kid go to a Division I, it's a Big Ten school, because he liked the colors of the school. And it's kind of funny, but then he wanted to transfer when he got there. I'm like, well, you chose this based on the colors of the shorts. So being an involved participant in your recruiting helps. You know, look at the rosters, look at the stat sheet, understand the kids they have in your position, what's your opportunity to play, what style do they play, look at your head coach. I would really caution this, and we used to tell people this in the recruiting process. Make sure that the head coach comes and visits with you and your family, but in your home. As good as assistant coaches are, they're not making the ultimate decisions regarding playing time or anything else. Because if the head coach is not in your home, they're in somebody else's. So as a general rule, you're treated the way that you're recruited. If you're recruited in a very professional way, with the coaches being involved, usually when you get there, that's the way that they treat you, because you're a priority. If you're not, then sometimes it's not as good of a situation. And again, as good as assistant coaches are, they're not making the decisions ultimately when it comes to things in the program. I guess the last hurdle we would call the C, or common sense. And this, again, is the players and the coaches. Make sure they're the type of people you want to be around. Make sure you're comfortable with them. Talk to all the players when you go visit, not just the ones they put you with. Because you're going to hear good things and bad things about every program. The perfect program doesn't exist. All of it, believe it or not, even I have limitations and issues. We all do. But make sure it's the type of people that you relate to, that you would have an opportunity to do well with. One thing we always talk to our kids about, if a school is comfortable with transfers, if you're a transfer student, look for a school that has a track record with transfers and success, both in the classroom and on the basketball court or football field, whatever your sport is. If it's a school that's primarily dealing with high school kids coming in as freshmen, make sure that track record is good. Do your homework. It is the biggest thing that I would encourage you to do. Go to the camps. Get to know the coaches. Because at the end of the day, no matter where you're playing, it's the relationships that will endure you during the difficult times. And everybody has them. That's why I think you see so many kids transfer today, because it's just an easy way out. A lot of transfers are a result of not doing your homework or trying to twist yourself into a situation that doesn't fit you. Bigger is not necessarily better. There's a lot of places you can play, and you want to be an impact and make a difference when you go there. So,
You know, in addition to the great example you just gave about a player choosing a school for the colors, what other common recruiting mistakes would you say that student athletes make in choosing a school?
you know, I think a lot of times people will take just the biggest offer out there. You know, what's the biggest single offer I could get, and let me go there. You really have to look at what you're trying to accomplish. Some of the other sports, you take away NCAA Division I football and basketball on the men's side. Everything else is an equivalency sport, which means the scholarships, it might be full, it might be 33%. A lot of times, especially in baseball and some of the other sports, you turn down larger scholarship offers at smaller schools to go to bigger schools for less money just because of the prestige. Again, figure out what your worth is, figure out what you want to do, and put yourself in the best possible scenario. Because at the end of the thing, just about everybody takes out student loans. And this is a misnomer. A lot of people don't realize this. Most basketball and football kids in Division I are taking out student loans. Even though they're getting the proverbial full ride, it still doesn't cover a ton of stuff. So figure out what it is you're wanting to do. Make sure that that school is going to be able to allow you to do that, and you're in a good situation.
If you can, talk about, so many people want to talk about just the major college, major prospects. That's what we see on TV.
Right.
That's what we want to know. Can you speak about all these other opportunities that are out there for student athletes? I saw something you wrote a while ago that you said something to the effect, and clarify this for me, that if you want to play college athletics, you can.
Absolutely.
Now there was a big caveat to that, that if you're willing to do
Right.
what it takes to play college athletics, you can. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Sure.
That's great.
You know, if you do a survey, and I've read different ones, that anywhere from 60 to 70% of high school seniors indicate they'd like to play college athletics. That even includes kids that are not even playing on their high school team. So there's an interest there. You turn on the television, etc. You know, you see all the different, you see LSU, Alabama, Texas, Missouri, whoever. There's so many other schools other than those primetime institutions. Could you play college athletics? Absolutely. There's so many great NAIA programs, Division II, Division III, junior colleges, the Christian League. There's opportunities that are endless. What I mean is, if you want to play, if you're willing to move, if you're willing to take out loans, if you're willing to do those things and find yourself in a situation of a coach in a college that wants you to come, man, that's a perfect deal for you. Because a lot of times what people will do is they'll go and play at a NAIA school, a junior college, what have you, on no scholarship. They can play their way into scholarship, athletic scholarship. Now, as a general rule, and I know at Texas Wesleyan, we had that happen. Now, it was an exception rather than a rule, but it can happen. So a lot of people need to figure out, again, what's my best level? What's my best level to play? Where will I fit in best? Where will I make a difference? And at the end of the day, you want to make a difference. You don't want to be doing what we're doing right here, sitting. You want to be playing.
Right.
And there's so many opportunities to do that. I absolutely think you can play college athletics. It just depends on what level that you're going to be comfortable with.
Excellent. Well, this is great advice from Coach Terry Waldrop. We really appreciate him taking the time with us today to talk about the recruiting process. Thanks again for joining us here at Star Athletes Online. I'm John McCarthy. Thank you.